Welcome to another special explainer of Hornbill TV, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alnguli. The horrendous traffic jam in Chumuginima on Saturday had many wringing their heads, ladies and gentlemen. The four-lane National Highway 29 looked like a miniature version of a six-lane highway after a zombie attack. 3 or 4 lines of vehicles in each lane. People honking, some were muttering angry opinions and shaking their fists. There was a time when most people used to attribute traffic congestions in Nagaland to the lack of roads, or at least the lack of proper roads. Now that we have a proper 4-lane highway, we have no one left to blame for the traffic congestions. Of course, it is true that roads and uninformed drivers and other factors are not the primary reason for traffic congestion in Nagaland that are specific to the public. There are many other reasons that correspond to infrastructure, traffic management, a lot of stuff involved there. And in developing tribal regions such as the northeastern states, particularly Nagaland, ladies and gentlemen, the reasons can be more than what an explainer like this can complete talking about. We are going to talk about the primary reasons why traffic jams are common even in wide open spaces like Dimapur. And I tell you, Dimapur's infrastructure is comparatively much better than those in most districts. So what happened? Traffic jams in Nagaland, ladies and gentlemen, like in many other regions in the northeast region, can be attributed to a combination of factors that vary from one town to another. It's not always the same in all the places. These include reasons of space, infrastructure, urban infrastructure again, traffic management, parking spaces, and pedestrian facilities, a lot of them involved. However, some common causes of traffic jams in Nagaland are generally uniform in their occurrence. So you can say it's somewhat similar to the ones that we see in Dimapur and in Kohima and other districts. So let's start off with the basics. Why? Rapid urbanization. Nagaland has been experiencing urbanization at a very fast pace, leading to the growth of urban areas such as Kohima and Dimapur especially. According to Census 2011, Nagaland registered a growth rate of about 69% for a decade. By comparison, the average rate at a national level is just 21%. More and more buildings and urban facilities such as drains and roads are coming up. They're reducing the leeway and the space that is required for roads and road development, ladies and gentlemen. The increase in population and the concentration of economic activities in the urban areas contribute to the heavy traffic. Another reason is population density. High population density in large towns such as Dimapur and Kohima puts immense pressure on transportation facilities and transport infrastructure. Now add to our population the floating working populations. Floating populations are people who come in from outside to work here in the daytime and then leave. Now you add more to it, add legal or illegal immigrants to it. So when you have more and more people migrating to our towns, there is an automatic demand for more transport, meaning more people equate to more passengers. More passengers, more taxis, more buses, more rickshaws. In other words, the number of vehicles on the roads can exceed the capacity of the existing roads. According to 2022 data, Nagaland has a total of about 4,01,696 registered vehicles. In 2021, a total of 21,872 new vehicles were registered in Nagaland, while there were 25,010 new vehicle registrations in 2022. Now we are getting to the heart of the reasons. Limited road infrastructure is one of the main reasons for the traffic congestions in Kohima and Dimapur. For a developing state like Nagaland, a dependable road infrastructure is still a work in progress, ladies and gentlemen. I grew up in Woka town. Whenever relatives visited, the one customary question we used to ask each other during those days was this: How are the roads these days in Waka district? In the 80s and 90s, our National Highway 29 used to be full of potholes and loose gravel and sand. We used to hitch a ride on horse carts to the town from Dibubar, 4 Mile. Nagaland still has a very long way to go before it can handle the growing number of vehicles. But again, road infrastructure and road development is closely linked to land use. The number of buildings coming up near public roads, public areas often hinders expansion. Now, encroachment into public land adds to the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Taking lands that do not belong to you or building over lands that are not yours. This in turn affects road planning. So what you have is the Kohima situation. You can't walk out of your house without walking into someone's bathroom or kitchen there. Because there is no scope for space, the size of the roads also remains. And they will remain so unless the government in the future introduces a sweeping policy to remove the buildings straddling the roads, to expand the roads they have right now. Another reason for the congestions and the snails is that inadequate public transportation in Nagaland towns. There are public transportation facilities in Nagaland are generally inadequate. They're not enough. And this is the same all over the districts. Public transportation systems are insufficient or inefficient. There are a limited number of affordable taxis or auto rickshaws or public buses, or they are not dependable for reasons of high fares or inconvenience. It is not easy for everyone, meaning people view this as a long-term inconvenience for which they resort to another way, buying personal transport, buying your own car, which paradoxically add even more to the problem of traffic congestions, ladies and gentlemen. A significant portion of the population in Nagaland rely on private vehicles. Some experts have suggested improving public transportation facilities, but getting more public transport in, such as buses, can be a huge problem. But still, that is a solution they have suggested. The average school bus has, for instance, about 40 seats. The bus will take only a space of about 14 meters on the road if you put 40 persons on the bus. But if the parents of 40 children, for instance, take their cars to drop them off to school, it will take about 2 blocks of street. Rising incomes and improved living standards among certain higher middle class sections of Nagaland have led to an increased vehicle ownership, ladies and gentlemen. High numbers of private vehicles can overwhelm the road and the road infrastructure. Talking of private vehicles, the public contributes a major share to the problem here. The public, it is obsessively difficult for us to drive behind someone, for instance. Overtaking, even at curves and turnings, are very common in Nagaland, which is also dangerous. We then change or jump lanes in the middle of traffic. We try to push forward even if the road has already multiple lanes jammed to move forward. There is no place for the incoming traffic to move about. We park improperly in congested places, or we park where we shouldn't be. So our behavior also contributes to the traffic congestion in our towns. Another reason is inefficient or inadequate traffic management. Inefficient traffic personnel, that's one, or inadequate or inefficient traffic management facilities, and lack of traffic technology can add to the problem of traffic congestion. And this is what is being seen across Nagaland. Poorly coordinated traffic flow and inadequate measures to regulate traffic contributes to delays. In India, the traffic police are often used for VIP duties too. just a while ago that Dimapur traffic authorities, or was it Chumukidima? The authorities clarified that traffic personnel were sent for VIP duties when the snag happened, meaning there is fewer personnel to take care of the traffic. In fact, in Nagaland, you will rarely see traffic people on the islands after 6:30 p.m. We were going home after work the other day. This auto rickshaw driver was directing the traffic at a central gate junction at Fort Mile. There was no traffic policeman on that island as usual. So that's what we're talking about. Now let's talk about infrastructure now. Lack of parking facilities is another reason. I think there were talks of building an urban parking lot in Dimapur many years ago. I don't know what happened. Inadequate parking facilities in the urban areas, especially the commercial areas, can contribute to traffic congestion in a great way, because drivers may spend significant time searching or fighting for parking spaces, and in an already congested space like the Dimapur central commercial areas, it is difficult for both the pedestrians and for the motorists. And another thing they do is they park in areas that trigger congestion, such as junctions, near shops or near schools, near entryways. So public establishments such as schools, colleges and hospitals near roads are also a major reason for making traffic management a nightmare for Nagaland, ladies and gentlemen. When, for instance, school breaks, you can imagine the traffic from Purna Bazaar to the Dangan area during school hours. The same it is with traffic when there are carnivals and weekday markets. I think we should not really allow commercial or entertainment activities in public spaces. We should not allow markets near hospitals and schools especially. Another reason is how the public transport such as auto rickshaws slowly hijack public spaces before they grow into full parking spaces here. This is how it generally starts. An auto rickshaw or two will start stopping at certain points of the road gradually. During a course of time, more and more auto rickshaws will join before it becomes a parking point. And this is what I believe happened to the present BWD parking and the auto parking leading to Signal Basti at Dhominala. Initially, it will just start with one or two auto rickshaws, and then before you know it, more and more autos are lining up, and suddenly they take the public spaces, especially the roadsides. So pedestrians have no places to walk in, vehicles have no places to park in, and suddenly there is a fight for space everywhere. The authorities need to regulate where and when autos need to park or pick up passengers the way they did with Circular Road in Dimapur. It is not lost on the public why junctions are some of the most inconvenient, horrible places for vehicular movements. There are always auto rickshaws plying their trade there, buses jamming there, private vehicles trying to get in and get out, pedestrians trying to negotiate their way through that maze. So all these add to the pressure on the road and road infrastructure that we have. There are many reasons why traffic congestions take place, and this is one of them. Temporal instances that causes traffic congestions are road accidents and vehicle breakdowns on the road. It can lead to blockages and traffic jams. Lack of adherence to traffic rules can lead to disruptions and delays. Naga drivers are known for unnecessarily overtaking or unnecessarily jumping lanes just to get ahead. I don't know why we cannot drive peacefully behind others. We are always in a hurry. Now, this can create bottlenecks at the exit and entry points. This can make the job harder for the police people and for the motorists and pedestrians alike. Basically, the most visible reasons for continual traffic jams are poor road infrastructure, narrow roads, poor driving behavior by the public, breaking traffic rules, tolerating public transport parkings in congested areas, and the lack of strong traffic management. All these reasons combined add to the traffic problems on Nagaland's roads. Creative, consistent and strong enforcement of traffic rules, efficient traffic management from the authorities, proper driving behavior from the public, land use regulations, and offering proper parking facilities. All this can contribute greatly to easing our chaotic traffic. Of course, it is easier said than done, but a good start would be by isolating the issues, each of them, identifying the bottlenecks and customizing solutions. Further, addressing traffic congestion in Nagaland demands a comprehensive approach that includes investment in transportation infrastructure, improvements in public transportation, better urban planning, and effective traffic management strategies. Combining all this will work towards civilizing our roads. Thank you for watching HornbillTV, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Al Nguli. See you next time.